The news says it's officially a buyer's market. Apparently, nobody told Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, or Mount Lebanon. Across the country, homes are taking longer to sell. Price reductions are becoming more common, and according to national statistics, the United States had nearly 500,000 more home sellers than buyers in June. That is 48.5% more sellers than buyers. Realtor.com reported that the typical home spent 57 days on the market in July, and 1 out of every 5 active listings had already reduced its price. But something different is happening in Pittsburgh's South Hills. Relocating families are still arriving. Many already have Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, and Mount Lebanon on their short lists. And when the right home appears properly prepared, properly marketed, and properly priced, they are still prepared to act. If you own a home in one of these communities, that continuing relocation demand may represent an opportunity. Only if you understand what today's incoming buyers are actually looking for. Hello, I'm Sharon St. Clair with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. I help families relocate to Pittsburgh, and I help South Hills homeowners position their properties for the buyers moving here. But I don't practice dual agency. I believe in only representing one party to the transaction. Today, I want to explain why Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, and Mount Lebanon continue to hold their ground while much of the country slows down, and what that means if you are considering selling. First, we need to be careful with national housing headlines. There is no single American housing market. Conditions in Miami, Austin, Nashville, Phoenix, or Dallas do not automatically tell us what is happening in Pittsburgh's South Hills. Many of the national buyers markets receiving attention are located in areas that experienced enormous amounts of new construction. Builders produced more homes, homeowners began listing again, and the supply of available properties grew faster than the number of buyers. That gives buyers more choices and more negotiating power. But Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair are largely established, land-constrained communities. There simply are not large areas of vacant land where builders can suddenly produce thousands of competing homes. Peters Township has more available land and considerably more new construction, but it continues to attract buyers looking for newer homes, larger lots, modern floor plans, and access to Washington County. Each community offers something different, but all three remain destinations that relocating buyers frequently identify before they ever arrive in Pittsburgh. That is the first reason these markets remain resilient. Buyers are not merely searching for any house somewhere in the Pittsburgh area. Many are deliberately trying to find a home in one of these three communities. The second reason is the school district effect. Relocating families frequently begin their search by researching school districts, property taxes, commute times, housing styles, and the lifestyle offered by different communities. Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, and Mount Lebanon regularly appear on those shortlists. That produces a continuing stream of buyers who are not simply browsing online to see what is available. They may be moving to Pittsburgh because of a new position with UPMC, Allegheny Health Network, a university, a law firm, a financial institution, an energy company, or one of the region's growing technology employers. Many have a definite starting date. They need to establish housing, arrange their move, and enroll their children in school. A buyer already living in Pittsburgh may decide to wait 6 months for mortgage rates to change, which in my opinion is a mistake. But a family relocating here for a new position may not have that flexibility. When they find the right home, they often need to act. The third reason is limited replacement inventory. In Mount Lebanon, buyers may be searching for distinctive architecture, a walkable neighborhood, access to the T, or a shorter commute to downtown Pittsburgh. In Upper St. Clair, they may want an established neighborhood, a traditional home, mature surroundings, recreational amenities, and convenient South Hills access. In Peters Township, they may be looking for newer construction, a more contemporary floor plan, additional land, or the tax differences associated with Washington County. Those homes are not interchangeable. A buyer who wants the architecture and walkability of Mount Lebanon may not view a new home in Peters Township as a substitute. A buyer who wants newer construction and more land in Peters Township may not be satisfied with an older Mount Lebanon property. And a buyer who wants Upper St. Clair's particular combination of location, housing, schools, and community amenities may be willing to wait for the right home to appear. This keeps demand concentrated. Nationally, buyers may have more properties to choose from. Locally, a buyer's actual choices are remarkably limited once we account for community, price range, condition, taxes, commute, lot, and housing style. The latest public market snapshots illustrate that difference. Peters Township showed a median of approximately 33 days on the market. Upper St. Clair was approximately 44 days, and Mount Lebanon was approximately 23 days. Those community-wide numbers do not mean every home sells within that time. Some properly positioned homes sell much faster. Others remain available for months. That brings us to what every South Hills seller needs to understand. A resilient local market does not mean buyers will accept any condition or any asking price. The market has divided. Buyers are still competing for the homes they consider exceptional, while becoming increasingly cautious about everything else. The homes attracting the strongest response generally combine three things: the right condition, the right presentation, and the right initial price. Today's relocating buyers are doing more research before they schedule a showing. They are comparing the home's price, property taxes, condition, insurance, commute, school district, expected maintenance, and monthly mortgage payment. A difference of $25,000 or $50,000 in price can materially affect their monthly cost and their willingness to compete. That means a seller cannot simply take the highest neighborhood sale from 2022 or 2023, add the cost of every improvement, and assume today's buyers will agree. Mortgage rates are different. Monthly payments are different. Buyer expectations are different. The strongest homes can still receive immediate attention and multiple offers, but an overpriced or poorly prepared home can sit while a properly positioned home down the street sells. That is not a contradiction, it is evidence of a more selective market. The first 7 days are everything. When a home first appears online, buyers with saved searches receive an alert. Their agents contact them. Relocating families compare it with every other home that might fit their needs. If the photography, condition, description, marketing, and price all tell a compelling story, the property creates urgency. But if the home is overpriced or poorly presented, many buyers will not make a lower offer. They will simply move on. After several weeks, buyers begin asking why the home has not sold. They study the listing history. They anticipate a price reduction, and the seller's negotiating position can begin to weaken. The market speaks, and silence is a language. There is another reason my relocation work matters to South Hills sellers. The buyer for your home may not live in Pittsburgh yet. That buyer may be sitting in Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Washington, Atlanta, or another city, trying to understand the differences between Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, and Mount Lebanon. They may know the name of the school district, but know very little about the neighborhoods, taxes, commute, architecture, housing stock, or daily lifestyle. Those buyers need more than a listing. They need context. They need to understand not only what the house contains, but why that home and that particular community may fit the life they are creating in Pittsburgh. Marketing a South Hills home effectively should therefore reach beyond buyers who already live nearby. It should help an incoming buyer understand the property confidently enough to schedule a visit, arrange a virtual showing, or travel to Pittsburgh prepared to make a decision. That is where relocation expertise becomes a seller advantage. So, should you list now? Possibly. Probably. If your home is properly positioned in Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, or Mount Lebanon, you may have an advantage that sellers in many other parts of the country do not have. Relocating families are still arriving. Desirable inventory remains limited, and the right homes are still generating serious attention. But the community's reputation cannot compensate for the wrong strategy. Before listing, examine the sales that are genuinely comparable to your property. Study the homes buyers can purchase right now. Account for condition, updates, taxes, price range, and monthly affordability. Determine what should be repaired, staged, inspected, or addressed before the home reaches the market. And create a response plan before the listing goes live. If you are considering selling in Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, or Mount Lebanon, do not let a national headline convince you that you have missed your opportunity. But do not let a strong local reputation convince you that preparation, marketing, and pricing no longer matter. Both conclusions would be mistakes. I'm Sharon St. Clair with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. If you are relocating to Pittsburgh, I can help you understand which South Hills community fits the way you want to live. And if you own a home in Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, or Mount Lebanon, I can help you position that home for both local buyers and the relocating families actively searching for these communities. No pressure, only strategy. Because real estate is local, but the buyer for your South Hills home may be living hundreds of miles away right now.